In this video, we're going to go through the general operation of the Evo SP8 when used in tandem with any ADAT or SPDIF equipped audio interface. Today, we're going to be using an unracked SP8. However, if you have the optional rack ears, unscrew the rubber feet from the bottom of SP8 and connect the rack ears using the screws provided. SP8 can then be mounted into your rack. To begin, let's get everything connected. When expanding an audio interface with SP8, it's important that both devices are in sync with each other. This is achieved through a clocking signal, in which one device creates the clock signal and the other device listens and syncs to that signal. This setup will work with any audio interface with an optical input. However, depending on the actual connectivity of your interface, there are alternative setups that utilize the word clock input that you might find more beneficial, especially if connecting more than two pieces of equipment. The most basic way of setting up a single SP8 with an audio interface is plugging an optical cable from the optical output of SP8 to an optical input on your audio interface. Note that when working at 44.1 kHz and 48 kHz, you only need a single cable, but at higher sample rates, you will need to use both optical outputs in order to get the full 8 inputs. In this scenario, SP8 is running the clock signal, and your audio interface would need to sync to it. Depending on the interface you are using, there is normally a settings menu item which will tell the interface to sync from an external source, so make sure you select this for this setup. When operating like this, you'll need to manually ensure that SP8 is set to the same sample rate as the project you're working on. We will go through how to do that later in this video. Let's power SP8 on for the first time. Connecting power will automatically power on SP8, and then you'll be taken through the initial setup process. Using the control wheel, set the brightness level for the channel and ring LEDs, then press the wheel to confirm. Next, you'll be prompted to select the clock source. In this example, we need to select internal. As we are using the internal clock, we need to set the sample rate. Here, you need to set it to whatever you'll be using on your audio interface or in your DAW project. Finally, you'll be prompted to select the source for the analog outputs. Selecting digital will convert any audio you bring into SP8 using the digital inputs and send it to the line outputs, perfect for sending audio from your DAW to external equipment. Selecting analog will send a copy of your inputs to the line outputs, which is great for creating a backup recording on an external device or sending to something like a mixer. If you aren't planning on using the line outputs, you can just leave it on the default. Then navigate to finish. You will then see the setup complete dialog. To start recording with SP8, plug your microphones or instruments into the input connectors. If you're going to be using an instrument such as an electric bass or guitar, ensure you're using either input 1 or 2 on the front panel, and that you set the input to instrument mode by pressing the channel and then the instrument button. If you're using a condenser microphone, you will need to use phantom power. Simply press the input button that the mic is connected to and press the 48-volt button. The red light on the 48-volt button will illuminate to indicate that phantom power is now on, and you will also be prompted on the SP8 screen with Gerald the Phantom. If you're recording a stereo source and want to match your input levels, you can stereo link consecutive inputs by holding down both input buttons at the same time. You will see both input buttons illuminate and will see a stereo linking icon on the screen. Now you have everything connected, you can easily set your input levels using SP8's Smart Gain feature. To do this, press the green Smart Gain button, then tap the input buttons that you wish to set the gain for, and then press the Smart Gain button again to begin the process. If instead you want to quickly select all 8 inputs, just hold the Smart Gain button down and you will see all input buttons light up. Tap the Smart Gain button again to start the process. The screen will also indicate that Smart Gain is now active and the LED ring will begin to animate. Now start performing into your mics or playing your instruments, and Smart Gain will analyze the incoming signals as you're playing and set your levels correctly. If Smart Gain has been successful, you will receive a Smart Gain complete indication on screen and you're good to go. If Smart Gain fails on one or more inputs, a failure indication will be displayed showing you which input it failed on. Errors are most likely caused by loose connected cables, faulty cables, or not having phantom power turned on when using condenser microphones. If you don't want to use Smart Gain or you want to adjust the levels yourself afterwards, you can set your gain manually by pressing one of the input buttons and then turning the control wheel until you're happy with the level. You can also quickly mute any of the inputs by holding down the relevant input button. The input button LED will flash and a mute indication will be displayed on screen. To change any of the settings while using SP8, the settings menu can be accessed by holding down the control wheel. Here you can quickly power off SP8, adjust the clock source, sample rate, word clock settings, output source, and brightness. You can also view the status, which gives you information about sample rate and clocking. And finally, factory reset, which will put SP8 back to factory settings. Once you're finished with your session, you can quickly put SP8 into standby mode by holding down the control wheel for 5 seconds, or by navigating to the power off menu item in the settings menu. To turn it back on again, simply press the control wheel. If you're using SP8 with an Evo 16, there are a few extra features available through the Evo expanded system. So if you want to learn more about how to set up SP8 with an Evo 16 specifically, then please watch the expanded system video. Now you have everything you need to get recording with SP8. A basic method of how to connect your SP8 to your audio interface, how to set up your inputs, and how to access the various settings available. For more information about SP8, please check out some of our other videos or take a look at some of our support documentation. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more Evo-related video and content.